It's about 6:30 in the morning in Georgia, and I just read about Kandi's from the Real Housewives of Atlanta's husband, fiance, being shot to death in his gentleman's club in Atlanta. And it's really playing on my emotions right now because you just think about how quickly life becomes death, and there's no more words that you can say to a person because they're gone. There's no apologies. There's no admissions of love. There's no admission of truth. There's nothing that you can say or do for or with a person after they're deceased. You know, watching the Real Housewives of Atlanta, we saw that Kandi was torn. She was torn because her family couldn't accept this man who she loved and wanted to marry, regardless of the fact that he had 8 children. You know, regardless of whatever baggage that he had, she loved him. She wanted to be with him. And she was sure that it was genuine. You know, so many times we're conflicted with the matters of the heart and what and how we're perceived by the world, what we're perceived as and how we're perceived by the world. You know, we're conflicted and sometimes afraid to follow our heart instead of follow the crowd. You know, it's just real to me that I need to do better. We need to do better with allowing ourselves to love unabashedly, to be full and hearty in expressing our emotions amongst the people who we love, because once they're gone, they're gone. And it's so easy to think that tragedy will not strike us and take the blessings that we have in our lives, that we've been allowed, for granted. You know, I do a lot of petty things in terms of holding grudges, in terms of being spiteful, when it comes to not just my husband, but anybody who hurts me, anybody who I feel like is trying to hurt me. And that's wrong. It's wrong to retaliate with grudge and just evil, period. My heart goes out to Kandi, and I read her Twitter page, and she doesn't want to be bothered, and, you know, it reminds me of myself sometimes, especially when I feel hurt, especially when, you know, I've never experienced a death before. of a loved one, of someone who I was close with, of someone who hit me home. I never experienced that type of death. And I'd hate to see what it do to me when I do, because I'm such an emotional person. I'm such a conflicted person. A young person who desires to follow God, but I'm conflicted every day because of this world that I live in. The little things that I find myself entertained by, it wakes me up in the middle of the night, and I grieve. I have to pray because this world is so influential. The music, the media, and the people who intake it. But it definitely allows me to examine my life, examine my input on the world, and reevaluate just even some of the things that I've been doing lately. And I'm not an evil person, but I feel the repercussions of every cruel thing that I hear, that I see, that I read. It makes me feel guilty later on. And that may seem dramatic to some people, but I know there's somebody out there who feels me. But I wanted to share that. I think the best time to identify with your emotions is immediately. So yeah.